Tabletop Stimulator. With your hosts,
Dan
and
Jim,
and me, Herr Spieler.
do you want me to write the theme tune?
Yeah.
Sing the theme tune?
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean,
okay.
Also a reference I imagine a lot of people wouldn't get now because it's moved on quite a while.
a lot, yeah.
So yeah, I thought what we would probably do is there's a few things we'd chat about, and then just because obviously it's just a pilot, and then decide how we'd want to structure it going forward. If it would be about certain topics and we'd revisit those each time, or or whatever.
We could get some feedback from the maybe 10, 20 people that listen if we can pay them enough.
Yeah.
And they could tell us what they like and what they don't like.
So I found out my wife on my YouTube videos, she just puts it on play on silent and leaves it on the side.
On repeat, over and over.
No, just one time.
Oh, right.
She said, I've watched it. It's like, you didn't watch it though, did you? You just put it on. Well, you got your view.
She's really good to you, you know?
Yeah.
Some women wouldn't do that for their bloke.
No. So on the first one, I wanted to... You've already told me about it, but I thought we would get some of it on the podcast about...
You were going to say tape, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, about you starting the store.
Right, okay.
Because I wanted to talk about... Because I was thinking in the future I might interview some people about how... because you're not... Obviously, you're a retailer, but you're also... you formed a community.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I think
100%.
I think I've kind of it's a combination of I wouldn't say I wouldn't say the community is all because of me. I would say that I've given a place where communities can form, and they've different communities that maybe already existed in small pockets have come together and created a bigger, stronger community, kind of like a transformer or Voltron.
I mean,
You know,
to me,
so
it sounds like...
a lot of the people that come here though maybe weren't in a community at all. So for them, they come here and this is their community. But some of the communities, like you look at, like we got a load of Yu-Gi-Oh guys that come down here, and they, their community already existed. Martin, who is like heavily involved with the running of it here, basically came along and brought the community with him and said, "Can we play here?" And I was like, "Sure, You're going to buy drinks and stuff," and they do.
So you were already part of a community that did Warhammer stuff, and then started the store when the other ones were falling apart, the infrastructure was falling apart.
So we kind of. I've been involved with other. So I had a shop like years and years ago, and it was kind of a. I left the job I was working in because of I had a lot of issues with my boss because he was trying to change the company into just a money grabbing way, and it wasn't what I wanted.
Name and shame him?
No, because I've not heard from him for years. So hopefully he's maybe not around anymore or something.
He's gone across the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, maybe he upset someone and they took him out.
He was.
But I decided that because my wargaming life started when I was like, I don't know, 10 or something. And my brother was in secondary school. My oldest brother was already a gamer, but my brother went to secondary school and started getting into Warhammer. So I got into Warhammer at the same time because he's only like 2 or 3 years older than me. And there was a place in town, which I will mention, called Griffin Games, which most people who are local to Weston and have gamed for years know quite well, and that was kind of where the kind of core community that supported me when I did this came from. And then so I opened the first shop because that community didn't really have anywhere to play, and then lots of things happened. We wanted to start a family. The business wasn't really going the way I wanted to. The internet started like existing properly, and Facebook became a thing and all of that. And I wasn't prepped for it at all. I didn't know what, I just didn't know what to do for that. So I decided not to keep it going. But then various things happened in that gap of however many years, 6, 7, 8 years. Like we went and played at different clubs. I was playing a lot of tournaments, like playing I started playing Warhammer Fantasy tournaments in like all over the Southwest and places like that. And then Age of Sigmar dropped. I got heavily involved in that, and the community for Age of Sigmar, especially at the start. I mean, I haven't got a clue about the tournament community now, but at the start, it was just like absolutely buzzing. There wasn't really hardly any negativity at all. There wasn't people there that you just didn't want to play or anything like that. It was really, really good. And we kind of traveled all over the place. We went to places like Firestorm Games, Element Games, and other gaming places. And I kind of saw what it could be. And I was just like, I was thinking, oh, okay. And I got to the point where I was looking at buildings and thinking, oh, I could fit that many tables in there. I could do this, I could do that. And I still do. But the kind of communities that we were getting involved with locally, for various reasons, the people that I played with wanted to stop going there, or I got annoyed with stuff, so stopped going there. And it's all just usual sort of political and conflicting personalities and stuff like that. So, it's nothing like personal against anyone, really. There's no like, even though at the time I might have been annoyed with people, really it was just like, that's just how life is and how people are, So yeah, so then when I started this place, that core of people, that a lot of them go all the way back to like the Griffin Games things, which so for me that's near 25, 30 years nearly ago. So so I guess that community I guess is kind of like the core of it. And then we got to the point where we were just gaming at my house. There was only like 3 or 4 of us. And all the other people that I used to game with were like, oh, you should open your shop up again. Because they're, and it kind of like, what I actually did is one of the guys locally, he and his dad were buying a building to do up. And they offered me part of it to use as like a club, basically. It wasn't a great property or anything like that, but it did the job, and it kind of kickstarted it again. But that was really kind of meant to be more of a club. And then it like within a month, everyone was like, oh, when are you going to start stocking stuff? Oh, okay. So I had to, and I was like, well, so I got in touch with Games Workshop, and then I was like, oh, well, I need like a $1,000's worth of order to put the first order in. Because that's their system was you put a big first order in, and then the following orders are a lot smaller, which is quite regular really for those sort of things. And I think I had the amount within like 3 days. I was just like, oh right, okay, and then it's just continually gone from there. Obviously, moving to where we are now, we've got a lot more space. When I first moved in here, we only had gaming downstairs because we just didn't need the upstairs space at the time. But the shop's kind of, obviously, the stock levels have grown and grown and grown over however many years, and especially since COVID. Like after that first lockdown, there were like tides of people coming in, and there's always new people coming in. I mean, both of you guys are post-COVID people who've started coming here.
Oh, so you... Okay, I thought you'd been coming here for years.
No, so I'm actually...
Well, I feel like you guys have been coming... Well, you have, but,
I started 2020. That was when I started.
March after you left China.
Yeah. Went to China, had this local delicacy, bat.
Yeah, deep fried, yeah.
So you got to find it first. It's best to find one with a runny nose.
Yeah.
And
goes
chest
down,
pains.
it slides down easier.
Yeah.
Well, you're putting out of his misery as well.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, it's good.
But no, I've only been wargaming for 3 years. Model building longer, maybe 5-6 years, but relatively late to it because did sports ball when I was younger and stuff. And then as I got older, needed a hobby that wasn't a computer or a screen.
Physical.
And physical, yeah, because I'm not in peak physical condition. But yeah, and I came down. In fact, I knew someone who you've known for a long time who said, "Oh, you should go down." And I did. And
I think I've only known him a year or two longer than I've known you.
yeah. And
But that is quite a long time now. It feels too long, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
yeah, there are. Back to community stuff. There are some people that are harder to deal with or might create conflict and stuff like that. But you can kind of. It's almost like management. You just got to.
I think
you just got to give the people the chance to not upset people. Maybe point out to them that they're.
Yeah, I think it comes down to as well. There's a lot of different personality types in here. So I came down recently with my partner, and one of the things that she was most surprised at was the variation in people. Like people have got in their head, people that go to wargaming shops they've got this picture in their head of this guy in an anorak that's just decided there's no more trains left, so he's going to go to the game shop. And I think that was one of the things that really, really, really shocked me is the massive variation in people you've got. The people that come through the door here, from bricklayers to IT people to like people that like work in supermarkets and stuff.
I reckon we've got alternative dancers and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, more than likely.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, but I think
we haven't got any politicians though.
I think going back to some of the conflict
They wouldn't admit
things.
to it.
No, that's true.
I think some of the conflict stuff that happens is because there are such wide varieties of people, and some people are really opinionated, and some people aren't.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they clash a little bit.
Some people want the clash as well, unfortunately, which is okay. If it's not really okay, but if it's the right people, we chuck a lot of banter at each other.
Yeah.
And some of the things we say to each other, you're like, people would think we're not friends, but actually, we're inside, we're just giggling.
Yeah, of course we are.
Because it's funny. But you can't be like that with everyone. And if I'm bantering with people, it's because I feel comfortable enough that I won't offend them.
I think some people, the gaming spills out into they can't let for a lot of us. We do this because we want to enjoy it and we want to play the game, and whether it be 40k, AOS, bolt action, whatever game it is you play. Some people can't leave that on the table. Like literally, their whole life has just been impacted by the roll of some little cubes of plastic that's really upset.
Some of them might be resin actually. Modern dice are really good.
Words.
Anyway, yeah.
So
You know all about them.
Well, I've had lots of Chinese companies telling me about it. So
feel free to buy your dice at thegamesmarket.com.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing. It's some people can't leave the game on the table. They come away going, and they're getting angry about dice. It's just some dice. It's a game. And which is why I don't enjoy tournament play, because people take it far too seriously.
I think you're. See, the thing with tournament play, I've played in a lot of tournaments. I would say only a third of the players there are really serious about it. And the problem with going to a tournament is that you might have to play one of those.
Yeah.
But and that's only if you're not serious. Like if you're a casual player, going to a tournament, you will probably have a game where you don't enjoy it because you're going to play against someone that's there to win. But say we're doing a 3-game or a 4-game tournament here, you probably only have to play one game like that, and that's probably because you've beaten someone, which you shouldn't have done. That was a mistake.
Unless you were lucky.
If you beat someone, there's a good chance you'll play someone else who's also won games, and there's more of a chance, But even then, I'd say that the people that come here and play, there's a couple that are definitely they only have a competitive mode.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're not people that you wouldn't want to hang around with.
No.
They're just people that you might not necessarily want to play because it's not suiting you. Whereas if one of the three of us, well, I mean, Sean is way more competitive than us two, I would say. Definitely. I don't think he realises it, but he is.
No, I am.
He actually gets something out of playing against people like that. Whereas for me, I play them and I feel like, cool, I've done my service to the community.
Yeah, that's a spate of playing teenagers and crushing them.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Well, it's because I wanted to get some wins. I was tired of losing. and I thought I'll just play people that are just.
And it was impressive that you were losing with Custodes. I mean, that in itself is achievement unlocked, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you come up against Guard at the moment, Astra Militarum, you are guaranteed to lose, I think.
They're focusing on AOS, aren't they, for the next 6 months, from what I read yesterday. I read an article about it. Saying there's a lot of drops on it.
I don't think they're focusing on AOS nearly enough at the moment. It feels like it's really slow trickle releases.
But the article is implying that in the next 6 months, that's going to be their primary focus. Because
they've already done the roadmap for it, and there's only 2 more codexes, 2 more battle tomes, or 3 more battle tomes on the roadmap up till summer. And it's like, I know that when you actually look at the battle tomes they've already done, there probably isn't that many left to go. But it kind of feels like there's just not. I love AOS, and I don't feel excited about it at all.
So I've never played it, but I love Warcry.
See, I haven't played it, but I thought I might come into it when you start the campaign, the Crusade, the AOS.
Oh, the Path to Glory thing that I've been excluded from. I will mention this.
Okay.
This is downright disgusting. You know who you are, AOS players. They're secretly, behind my back, even though they played the games here, secretly, 4 or 5 of them, or 6 of them, something like that, have set up their own little test group for play testing it because they knew I was too busy. So they've gone behind my back, even though I didn't have the time to do it. And they're testing out Path to Glory at the moment, and there will be a Path to Glory campaign at some point.
Well, we could start a smear campaign on them.
Yeah. Don't join their Path to Glory. No. Well, no, you can't join it though because they're not inviting anyone else in.
Their Path to Glory is a path to darkness.
The separatists.
They are separatists.
I think I need emergency powers
It would
and a
explain
clone army.
why there was 2 people the other day playing AOS in camo.
Yeah. All I could see was their heads,
Just
their boots, and their hands.
some dice rolling.
Yeah.
Just hear it. I can hear someone's playing something, but I can't see them.
I think the problem with AOS is that 40k is really popular. So because of that, like a lot of the time people are like, oh, I want a new army for 40k, or and then really they don't.
No.
Because they've already got 3 or 4.
40k is the golden egg, right? For Warhammer and for Games Workshop. That's
it's their safe earner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one that people go, 40k, and obviously I think with celebrities recently, like Henry Cavill turned around and been like, he's a mad 40k player.
He asked to come down and play here.
And he said no. Yeah, can't have Superman down here.
I said you'll ruin it for everyone.
Yeah. Ruin it, yeah. He's got his own back though. Yeah. He's doing the 40k show now, isn't he?
Yeah, I refuse to watch it.
You refuse to watch it?
Yeah, after what he's done.
After what he's done. Coming down here with his golden models. Being all Billy Big Balls.
Yeah, we wanted free coffee and I said no.
No.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are, yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of...
Riviera.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, my missus would probably leave me for him or something.
I mean, in fairness, if you walked in and said, Bev, your missus, you'd tuck him in and ask if they wanted a drink, wouldn't you? I would. I'd be like...
Can you sign this?
Yeah. Yeah. When you finish, let me know and I'll...
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, we've gone off. Where were we talking? Oh, Age of Sigmar.
Do you think you'll play that new Space Marine game on the Xbox?
Definitely. Space Marine 2. And it's got co-op as well.
Did you play the first one?
Yeah. Well, not at the time, because I wasn't into it
later.
then. I was like, I was one of the cool kids back then. Now I'm full nerd.
We embraced it.
I've given into the dark side, and everything I own has got paint on it. And I judge glues by their smell now. Because
you're not one of those people that airbrushes onto their keyboard, though, so you're all right.
I'm not one of those.
Some of the... Oh, you are.
There's paint everywhere.
Yeah, but you've got a booth.
Yeah, but I'm quite messy. You know this.
You're not messy. When you're here, you're not messy.
No, I'm not. When I'm here, I have to respect the environment I'm in.
Someone's got to.
When I'm at home. Like yesterday, for example, took my airbrush booth apart because I needed to clean it. So I put new filters in it, took the fan out, cleaned it all off, took the mesh out, put it all back together again. But obviously, there was 2-3 years worth of paint that I'd scraped out of it all over my floor. So that was okay because it was in the kitchen on the tiles, but obviously I have my shoes on and walked across my light grey carpet, got perfect imprints of size 9 Jordans across my front room floor, which is great, and I will resolve that problem before the landlord does an inspection because...
Put a sofa over it or something.
Yeah.
Why does he put a sofa right in the middle of the room? Yeah.
How does he get to the kitchen though? By climbing. Basically. Yeah, so... I'm quite messy at home, and there's noticed the other day there's tiny little blue fingerprints on the drawers where I've been painting Space Marines, and
they tried to escape.
Oh
right,
well,
your
it could
fingers.
Be that, actually.
Sorry,
I just assumed I touched the cupboard, but yeah. As you know, I'm not particularly precious with my models.
I can tell because you haven't told me that you've missed a backpack.
I couldn't even tell you where my models are right now.
I think they're under the table.
Yeah,
right there, right next to you.
For those of you watching Black and White, there's there's
Black and White.
Well, there's the old snooker thing, isn't it? They used to say it. For those of the viewers watching Black and White, it's just about the pot, the yellow ball. Because they tell them what colour, because obviously it's just different shades of grey, isn't it? In Black and White, snooker is quite a...
I thought you said Snickers, like the chocolate.
I thought you said Snickers first of all. Is that why?
Actually, this is recorded. We can find out.
Yeah.
Listeners, tell us what you think.
I definitely didn't say Snickers.
It was like the old Snickers thing, and I was like, "What? That you need to eat more nuts?"
I'm going to put it on repeat. Just go Snickers, 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 Snickers.
Snicker, 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 Snicker. The Snickers conundrum. Yeah.
It'll be that new thing of that dress like a few years ago.
Oh yeah, is it gold or blue?
Yeah.
I mean,
who gave a fuck?
Yeah, exactly. He did. Forge World stuff's reducing, right? Because they're
but they're switching to plastic.
Yeah.
But then they've still got resin upgrade parts, so they're going back to what they originally were.
Right.
So instead of having huge lumps of resin, it's more resin bits that go on the plastic.
I think they struggled with quality control as well on that resin.
Yeah, and I think 3D printing's probably... I think they know that 3D printing is probably long-term going to need to be dealt with in some way. Like when I say that, I don't mean them destroying 3D printing. I mean them... Maybe Forge World's long-term plan could be to sell the STLs instead or something like that.
They need to get encrypted STLs.
So for them to do that...
Because they need to be able to protect their IP.
Yeah, but for them to do that, to get to the point where they're doing that, they need the majority of what they do to be plastic. Because no matter what anyone says, resin is not... 3D printing is not a cheaper way of doing it unless it's your printer. And obviously... You can't print an exact copy of a plastic kit and then sell it on your website because that is illegal, you know.
And also, it's like you said, the cost involved, right? And
stupid
I think,
money.
And also, it's the failed prints. They're the new ones, right? It's like you can get 99% of the way through, then all of a sudden it just goes, hey.
The other thing that I'm expecting to happen at some point is there to be licenses or something like that involved with the actual resin and the disposal of the waste and all the rest of it. Because at the moment, anyone can buy the resin, anyone can buy acetone or isopropyl alcohol or any of the other agents that you might use. Yeah. There's no regulation. And who's to say... none of those materials you should just pour down the sink.
God, no.
But... Where's the regulation for it? And when that starts coming in, because all of a sudden the councils start getting pissed off because the drains are all full of resin or whatever, and then, all of a sudden that's another cost on top of it, isn't it? And I think these things are all going to start coming in at some point. And I think, to be honest, it needs those regulations to come in to kill off all of the people that are basically stopping it turning into a business.
Yeah.
But, back to Games Workshop and Forge World... There's conversations going on about it. There's no way they haven't talked about it, but I've no idea what they'll do. I think they'd be wise to do their own files.
I think, their own files or making more stuff as plastic because you don't need it to be as cheap as 3D printing it. Kind of like what like when you had streaming services coming in and undermining like music pirating and video pirating. Is they were free, but they were hassle. I can pay £8 a month
and not worry about it.
And the other thing they probably should do is, long term, put printers in their own stores and sell the files to independent traders and things like that. That are, maybe they need to meet certain criteria or whatever. But if you can go, oh well, I could buy my own printer, I could faff around with it and all the rest, or I could go to Games Workshop and get the shoulder pads I want printed for £10.
I think that might be the way it goes, right? It'll be printing as a service. It'll be, I want this. Like, you sign up for a plan for £15 a month, you get 3 prints a month for it. A bit like Audible, right? It's going to be that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's how they've got to do it, because an Audible book is encrypted on that device. And that's what Games Workshop needs to figure out with the STL files. Until they can do that part.
Or maybe, they have something called a GWTL or something. They come up with their own brand which doesn't work on anyone else's software, only works on their stuff. But then
that they can tie in with someone like an Elegoo, for example. Bring out
their
the
own brand
Games Workshop printed, which will print STLs as well. But it'll be like, it'll have a weird name. It won't just be called a 3D printer. It'll be called the Bellacor is called that lot. It'll be it won't. It'll be what are they called? The things that they find with the technology.
STC.
It'll call it
standard template constructor.
It'll be a standard template constructor, and there'll be the files that you put into the constructor, and it'll construct it, because that's how it all works, right? Into exactly what they want, and it ties into their app. It's Games Workshop as a service. Games Workshop know what their model is like. They'll know exactly where they've got to put their supports. Everything will be pre-supported, come out, and you haven't got to think about any of that stuff. Because I think that's where you do it, right? That's where you build in that end-to-end process, which is what Games Workshop want. And this is what the streaming services want, right? They want to lock you in from start to finish. Apple TV, for example, right? It's like $6.99. And that's one of those things where I keep going, I'm not watching it very often, but then I just watch Slow Horses on it in like 3 days. And it's like, every time I keep going, I need to cancel that, but then I go, and then it comes around and go, it's only £6, it's not a problem, and then you go on again.
I think they're making a bit of a mistake with their app at the moment as well, the subscription, because it's not that bad, but it could just be a little bit better. Right, there's been
it could be a lot better.
It could be a lot better. Well, of course, it could be a lot better. But it's very usable.
I'm subscribed to it, and it's usable, but it's not worth £5 a month.
But that's a basic, though, right? That's a basic requirement of an app, that it is usable.
Yeah, but I think it is free. But you're not really paying £5 a month, though, are you? Because you get the free model, you get a voucher, so you're paying probably half that.
Certainly not free.
And also,
the cost.
I mean, you're not. So that is part of the service. But you get that.
What's not included in that service is anything looking like good customer support. No, because I contacted them. Because I'd subscribed to it obviously over a year ago now. I got my free model, and it was the Orc. It got the notification you got an Orc, and I contacted them and I said, I play Sisters now, so can I change it for the Assassin instead? And they've still not got back to me. I just got the Orc in the end. I was like, fuck it, I'll just get the Orc.
Makes sense.
You could buy the other model, but the one that you picked is the one that you got.
Yeah, so I wanted to change my free model from the Orc to the other one.
Yeah, no.
And if I couldn't do it, fine.
But they should have just said no.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Was that who did you get in touch with though? The app or GW?
GW.
And they didn't get back to you. Oh, that's really bad. They normally.
But like the app, I know they've got all the other content on it, right? So the people that they went and chased off YouTube for using their IP, and they're like, come and work for us and do no content. Because I think that's been the disappointing part of it.
Yeah, I enjoy the animations.
Because that starts.
No, but I think the problem they got is that they're probably not getting enough income from the subscriptions to be able to do more with it.
You've got to drive the. I mean, look at Netflix and Amazon.
They're
not services to start with.
In my opinion, so we had a lot of issues last year with stock levels with Games Workshop. And there's still problems now. But one of the things that I thought was not just Games Workshop, but was a bit more of a global thing, was all the printing. So books, like, for example, the Chaos Demon Codex, it sold out on release, and I think it took 3 or 4 months to come back into stock. And that's just stupid. And the same with, like, the GT books. They sell out, and then they take ages to come back in. And I don't understand why they're afraid of just going digital. Because what they should do is instead of
That's
you
what
going,
stuff in the app.
yeah, but instead of going, what you do at the moment is you buy the physical book, you put the code into your my Warhammer thing, and it unlocks the content in the app. Why don't they, instead of doing that, let's save some trees, right? Print less books, and have it so that subscription includes all the new books whenever they're released in it. Okay, so make it £10 a month or £20 a month or whatever they feel. I mean, 20 quid a month is probably a little bit much, but it would give you all the game systems. They need to include all the other games like Necromunda and Kill Team and everything. Right? Maybe have tiered, whatever. You could just pick whatever. But if I would happily, especially, I mean, I'm super addicted to gaming, so I would happily pay £20 a month to have all of the books for every game system, not just 40k and Age of Sigmar, but the others as well. I think it all should be in there. And most people who pay that would only use one of the game systems, right? And then if you want a hard copy of a book, you can buy one.
And I'll tell you what else it eliminates. It eliminates these erratas. It eliminates the FAQs.
Yeah, because they can just update it straight into
book. And that's what I always used to find, or I do find really frustrating. It's like I've got these 3 chunks of paper in front of me that I've got to go through to build an army effectively and read about them. And then by the time I've built that list, it's like, right, now you've got to check the FAQs, you've got to check the erratas. Right, all the points have changed on this. They're not allowed that weapon anymore. They can't do this anymore. They don't get that anymore.
I mean, all of these things that, like you're saying, updating it all of these things are going to cost money. IT is not cheap. We all know that. Apps are ridiculously overpriced because, it's like a specialist market or whatever. So if you want to make the most of it, you've got to have it as the best it can be. And it doesn't matter if it costs money to the public because they're already going out and spending 20 quid on a captain. Yeah. Or even you look at the special edition models that come out 5-6 times a year, they always sell out.
Also,
people buy them. People will spend 20 to 25 quid on a random sniper,
With the app, though, and the content in it, if they haven't got to print these physical books, right?
Well, there's stuff to do some, but they're not as many.
But I think the way they do it is this, right? They go, right, we've got a new codex coming out with this, a new rule system coming out, brilliant. They create it on a computer, so they pay that person to do it, right? They pay them whatever they pay them a year, that's fine, that's a written off cost, they know that's there. Mm-hmm. They then go to everyone, right, we're doing this thing, you've got the app, you can download the book, and which is infinitely updatable. If you would like a physical copy of this book, you can have it for this price, and they do one.
And as a subscriber, use this code.
Discount.
Yeah, to get a discount.
Because the annoying thing is, so for example, I don't play a lot of 40k now. I want to get rid of all my books. Now, when I bought the books, I've gone to the back, got the code, gone into the app, and put the code in. So you can't reuse that code. So it damages that second-hand market. I know they don't get any money from that, but for communities and for players that don't have the financial means to be able to go, yeah, it's not a problem to spend 25 quid on a book each time they need one. It kind of eliminates that.
One of the things I like with the Reddit community for 40k is a lot of time they'll buy the book and then they'll put the code on the community for whoever first gets it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I don't need the code. So I've bought the book. Someone else can take the code. This is my bit of charity. And you'll get a load of people who will do that when a new book comes out.
Also, for Games Workshop, from like a fluffy marketing point of view, if they can turn around and go, we've now decided as a green initiative to go full digital for our app and the books, it offsets the damage they do for the resin they've got, right? Because there's not a lot you can do with that waste resin and all the byproducts from that.
And it goes towards them becoming like carbon neutral or
exactly, right?
Which is what big companies want.
And these are the sorts of things now that are becoming more and more important. The government are now starting to force companies.
It seems foolish how there's plenty of things they'll do, like Necromunda cards. They do a very limited run of them.
Yeah.
And then they don't do them, and then you can't access them.
They're not on it. Yeah, exactly. That's why all of these things need to be in the app.
Yeah.
Like
you can't.
The app, right? In my opinion, you got army list building for 40k and for Age of Sigmar. There's no Crusade stuff in there at all. So Crusade and Path to Glory should run through it. So you should be able to go, this unit's got this upgrade, this unit's got this upgrade, and all of the rest. And it should run it for you.
And also randomised missions for it as well.
Oh, exactly, yeah. And you could run campaigns through it, it's a lot of work, but like you suddenly go to people, oh, right, yeah, we're running this Crusade, but you need to be, for you to make the most of it, you need to be subscribed to the app. go look at all these cool things that the app does. Everyone would be like, that's great. And you could do this. Obviously, Necromunda is a great one for it. Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people out there. There's people out there with making software that do it, and there's people paying to use that software. And Games Workshop aren't doing it. Why? Why aren't you doing it? Rick and Morty, another 999 years. Games Workshop could take over the world with the app, but only if they let us do it for them.
If James Workshop is listening, then he could grab some of the people from Fantasy Flight to work on.
No, they haven't got a friendly. They're not friends anymore. Fantasy Flight. No, because
one of them didn't like the other's Instagram post, I think.
No, what I've been told it's to do with Fantasy Flight starting to do miniatures games when the agreement said that they wouldn't. So I don't know what the truth is really. There's obviously, I don't think it's like they hiss at each other in the street or anything like that. I think it's just like that is the end of our partnership.
I don't think they listen to their community particularly well. I think they've Games Workshop. I don't think they're listening.
I
think they may go.
They listen to aspects of it, but not. I wouldn't say they take in the whole. But I mean, that's the same with a lot of things. The problem is, for every one good idea, there's 1,000 bad ones.
Of course there is.
You know, and there's a lot of trolls on the internet that like to put Games Workshop down and all these other things. But they're successful for a reason, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They make mistakes, but they don't make terrible mistakes, in my opinion. Yeah, okay, armies come out and they're unbalanced, but guess what? The meta shifts, people buy new stuff. There'll be a new book at some point. There'll be a new edition at some point. People just keep going because if you bring out a perfect product, that's the end. Where do you go from there? You can't. So they're clever. They know what they're doing.
I just think with the financial crisis the way it is at the moment, I think it's good for a company to turn around and go, right, this is the we are going to go over, because how many factions are there in armies in 40k? There's loads, right?
Yeah,
so, I think you've got Space Marines, but then you've got a bunch.
I think the problem is their success is really on the fear of missing out.
Yeah, that is their model, isn't it?
If they go away from that, if they suddenly go, the next Ultramarines Codex is in 2028 or something, okay, that's extreme. But, if they start planning out a year in advance what's coming out, people will just be like, I'm going to save my money up for that. And do you know what? They'll save their money up and then the army will drop and they'll go, I've spent 300 quid. But they haven't spent any money leading up to that point.
So the article I read implies that Games Workshop have pretty much finished now with anything for 9.
They're onto the Arcs of Omen stuff now, which is like their end game of the edition. I mean, everyone's talking about the Lion coming back and all these other things. I think it's probably is going to happen. It probably is the Lion. I'd be disappointed though, to be honest. I really, really, really want there to be the 4 Chaos Gods represented Primarch-wise before the Imperials get any more. Because you get that kind of darkness before the light sort of thing.
Yeah, really under the cosh, and then it brings
everything's falling apart.
Do they need to bring Fulgrim in? And then
but I think I can't see that happening. No, I think it will happen 10th edition.
That would be a good thing lore-wise, right? If you've got like you say, it's all got dark, everything's got really bad, and then there's like these Primarchs that we know are off in the void. Or,
the demon Primarchs are raging across the Imperium, and
it's sort of like, right, they need to come back.
Yeah, Dante tries to cross the Rubicon. This is my plan. Dante tries to cross the Rubicon. It goes wrong. He's like in a coma or something. So Belisarius sticks him in a special dreadnought with a jump pack. And he's got this gold boy dreadnought with wings. Yeah. And then he lives forever, which is exactly what Dante doesn't want. No, he's got an axe. He's got an axe and a melter gun. So you could have like this Redemptor jump pack dreadnought close combat thing with like melters all over it, and it's gold. It's gold. It's got a cool face, and like an angel.
As a little leak towards what they're going to do in the future, he's got a little thing hanging off him, a little cube, and it turns out it's a little STC 3D printer that they're going to release in the future.
and then he's got in his hand, he's got the digital files.
Yeah, he's got the digital files.
You just see little digital things coming out.
Because that's how they do the release, right? Belisarius does the release for the 3D printer. It's like, we want you to become one of us. His own
it could be the Rubicon. They could name the 3D printer the Rubicon. Because that's what they call it.
And if
they
tie it up with Elegoo, they already do the Mars, which is where they are, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
there's the Mars Pro, the Mars 2, the Mars 2 Pro, the Mars 3, and then there's the Mars Belisarius.
Games Workshop should get in touch and pay me lots of money, and I'll come up with more ideas for them.
I think they've got... I'm pretty sure they've got 3D printers at HQ, but I think it's the super expensive
Of course, it's the ones that do it quickly.
Yeah, they're 60 grand ones or whatever. They are hundreds of thousands probably.
Yeah, you only have to wait 4 hours for a print, not 3.
Yeah, and it doesn't fail because it's not
rubbish. As in, just you get it out and go, there's nothing on the plate, and then find out that the plate, the bath's just got a massive chunk of resin cured to the bottom of it.
Oh, the models actually walk out of it at the end.
Yeah.
Their
batteries not included.
Rinse themselves off and cure.
Yeah. Did you see? I don't know how much you pay attention to it, but they had a load of stuff about 10th edition rumors the other day.
Oh, someone was telling me because I know that Valrak's going mad on stuff and a few of the others.
You save that for next time.
But I haven't looked into any of the rumors yet, apart from the fact that the next edition is apparently the 10th one.
I reckon they'll skip 10th and go straight to 11th.
And
they'll just be an X in the thing.
With the armor. With the armor. Yeah.
Is there
No, it's not even going to be. It's going to be Warhammer 41,000.
40.
The clock ticks on.
40,001.
Yeah. Or they'll be they get to it and they get to the end of the last Arcs of Omen, but that's the end of 40k. We finished it. Chaos 1.
Yeah.
All the Imperials are dead. There are no more Primarchs coming. Business is folded. Games Workshop is closed.
Yeah.
We have done as we set out to do.
Yeah. We have brought out a series of Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yeah.
Finish the series.
Yeah. And a colouring book.
And on just every page it just says Chaos 1, Chaos 1, Chaos 1.
There's a corn colouring book and it comes with a pack of 12 red crayons.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then obviously if you've got Space Marines, there's only going to be blue crayons because that's all there is, right? Ultramarines.
Yeah, they're the only ones that survive. Because all the others are rubbish.
I'll read up on them for next time and we can go through them. But the only one I wanted to mention was about them saying that they're going to retire the texture paints.
What? I don't. Okay. Yeah. That's weird, but yeah. Okay. What a random thing to have linked to 10th edition. I think I wouldn't surprise me if air paints disappear at some point as well, because they're okay. They need to be in dropper bottles. They're okay to use, and I quite like the amount that you get in a bottle. The bigger bottles are nice.
But still a large quantity of something is not very good.
Yeah, I think there are unfortunately better airbrush paints out there. I'll take it. And they're not. It's not even that their paint isn't as good. Actually, it's more that just their setup doesn't support it at all.
Yeah,
there's no support for it. They don't have any other products that go with it. They don't have their own airbrush. They don't teach people how to use it in their stores. None of their videos use it.
No, true.
They did one video ages ago with one of the Golden Demon guys or someone like that. It might be the Cotter Paint guy or someone else. And it was like, this is how we airbrush. And that was, 3 or 4 years ago.
Angel Harold, he's doing loads.
Well, yeah, he's now linked to them a lot more.
Are you supposed to pour out of that bottle into the airbrush?
Yeah. Well, that's what I do. I've never had a problem
with
it.
And that's why dropper bottles rule for airbrushes, right? You can drop in the bits you need, do the backflow mix, and off you trot.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm just quite barbarous with the way I use my airbrush. I hardly ever use palette. I go straight from the pot.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because I'm a brush.
We're getting cancelled. Forget anything else we said.
Right. Okay. So next podcast we're going to talk about. I reckon we're going to talk about 10th edition rumors.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about how barbarous we all are at painting.
I was going to say, I think there needs to be our hobby.
What sort of stuff we do?
Guilty pleasures, like. Yeah. The things that we do that we know are bad, but we.
I like opening a cream egg up, pouring Macragge Blue in it, and then eating it.
Yeah, yeah. Watch me scrape this mould line towards myself with this brand new blade on my craft knife.
Oh, I definitely do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that.
I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who likes their thumb. Well, I thought we could extraduce ourselves.
Extraduce?
Like an exit introduction.
Oh, okay. So you listen to the whole thing, and then at the end you find out who was talking.
You've got to do it backwards.
So, yeah, I think that's good. Right, should we start with you, Sean, as our presenter, our host,
Thanks, as the editor.
as the person who does all the work?
Bring
the theme tune.
Sean.
This is Sean, yeah.
Yeah, Sean.
Where can we find you online, Sean?
Where if you found this podcast, you found me.
Okay, but what about, like, you've got a YouTube channel. What's that called?
Das Spielkanal.
And there's a link to that in the notes, I presume.
Yes.
And you're on Instagram.
Yep, Das Spielkanal.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I'm Dan. I am not online.
Don't find Dan online.
You'll
Dreadful
be disgusted.
hobbyist.
You
Yes.
will be disgusted by what you find.
Yeah, if you find me online, welcome,
You've
brother.
got to use a Tor browser to find him.
I mean, if you really want to find me online, Dan_Fisher13 on Instagram.
Did you just look that up?
I did.
You can remember. That's what you can remember.
That's how bad I am at life.
Cool. And I am Jim, obviously owner of the Games Bunker. There's probably a web link to our shop and on the show notes. If you're local and you want to get involved in what we do, we've got a really active Discord channel, which I won't share everywhere because we hate bots jumping in. So get in touch with me if you want to be added into our Discord. The Games Bunker is on Instagram, Facebook, and it is on Twitter, but I don't use it because I hate Twitter. And it's all like at the Games Bunker. And if you're into non-Games Workshop stuff and you want us to talk about that, we're more than happy. We do love other game systems as well.
Yeah.
Can't think of any, but you know,
board games.
Yeah,
board games, and I like historical stuff. Dan's kind of on the fence with historical stuff. I think he'd like it if he actually bothered to play.
I like the world. I like the more factual stuff. I must admit.
And Sean likes things as well. If you go to he really likes Necromunda actually. If you go to his channel, you'll see that.
Yeah. Some stuff.
An obscure 80s pop.
Cool. I think we should have a exit tune now. And our voices can slowly fade into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exit the thing
Tabletop Stimulator.
The end.